Hey guys, this is just going to be a quick little video about something I've been thinking about lately. I know a lot of people have been upset with the antifa protests and the violence going on with that, understandably so. I think it's very bad. But a lot of people have been reacting by saying we need to just ban masked protests. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, I'm sure you're watching a lot of other people who have been saying this. So you've been hearing this. A lot of people are saying this, both in America and in Europe. Oh, we need to just ban masks in public. And if you want to have a protest, you have to show your face. You can't just hide behind a mask. And the idea is that people who are committing violence will be able to see exactly who they are. I've had a problem with this from the start. I don't believe that's right. I don't believe we should ban masks. I think the people, if they want to wear masks to a protest, that's fine. They should be allowed to do it. I haven't said anything, partly because I feel like it hasn't been a big deal, but also because I knew that most people are going to be upset with my position and say, oh, no, that's ridiculous. If you're protesting in public, you should not wear a mask. You should show your face. You should be proud of your position or whatever. That way, too, if you commit violence, we should be able to see who it is doing it, etc. Watching the Nicaragua protests going on lately has kind of brought this to mind again in a more real way. If you've been watching my channel, you've heard about what's going on in Nicaragua. If you haven't been watching my channel, or this is your first time hearing about it, just in brief, the government in Nicaragua has become very oppressive of their citizenry, and the citizens have been protesting. There's been a lot of violence mostly on the part of the police, or at least it started with the police. Anyway, the point is there have been a lot of protests against what the government is doing. And the government has been sending people out to film or to take pictures of the protesters, and they will then send the police or the paramilitary groups, or just, well, they will send groups to the homes of these individuals and arrest them in private. So, or under cover of night or whatever. It's just, they won't go out into the protest when there's a huge group. They'll wait until they've all gone home, and then they'll go to their homes and arrest them. So now, if you look at the protests going on now, most of the people there are wearing masks. It's for their own safety. It's so they can still get out there in large groups and protest and say, we, the Nicaraguan people, do not approve of what's going on with the government. But they're trying to keep themselves safe. And in watching these, all I could think of, well, I mean, I was thinking a lot of things, but one thing that kept coming to mind is so many people in America and in Europe would say, oh, this is wrong. They shouldn't be allowed to wear masks to their protests, even if it means endangering their life at the hands of a corrupt government. The Second Amendment in the US was originally to protect us from a corrupt government. Now, granted, that's not the argument most people will use nowadays, but that was its original purpose. In the same way, if we want to ban masks, I mean, I understand you want to get rid of Antifa, or you want to be able to identify people who commit violence, but I don't think that people who are advocating banning masks have really thought through the freedom and the safety that they themselves will lose if their government becomes corrupt. If there are groups out there willing to stamp out the opposition, if the party that you do not support gains sufficient power that they are physically oppressing the party that you support, if it comes to the point where you cannot protest and show your face in public safely without worrying about your family, do you want the law to then say, if you want to protest what the government is doing, you have to show your face to the government? Do you want the law to ban anonymity in protests? I don't think that's something we want to ban. And again, this is an issue that it's a principled approach for me, is to say, no, the civil government has no right to ban masks. That's silly. They shouldn't do that. But lately, watching the Nicaraguan protests, seeing all of this, it is coming home a little more strongly to say it's more than just a principled position. You're dealing with people's lives. I don't like Antifa. I don't like the fact that they come out there in the black bloc with their masks and they just feel safe to commit violence and all of that. I don't like the fact that they can commit violence and often get away with it. Not always, because a lot of them do get found out. I don't like that. But the answer is not to ban masks. Anyway, if you want me to answer what the answer is, that's a video for another time. So like I say, just a short little video here just to throw that out there to get people thinking. And when you talk about Antifa, when you talk about, oh, the masked groups and all of that, think about it.